Hey everyone, this is Larry with Today I Feel Like. Welcome back. Yeah, today was the Apple event, the keynote for Apple, and I thought I would hop on and talk a little bit about what was announced, what I thought about it, see what all of you think about it, if you have plans for picking up any of the Apple products that were announced today. And yeah, so first of all, let me just give a quick shout out to the couple people in the room. We have Nice to Nasty in the building. We have Pedro in the spot as well. We have Leon in the place. We have Leon says, I think I will upgrade to iPhone 14 Pro Max 1 terabyte. I will get the AirPods Pro 2 later. Probably ordering the Apple Watch SE today for my wife. Nice. He's going with the full Apple upgrade package. I see. Looks like you're gonna have a pretty much a brand new everything Apple. So yeah. All right. Well, I can tell you I have very mixed feelings about what I saw today on the Apple event there. So let's go ahead and let's jump into it. Let me give a couple shout outs to people. Let's see, Big Ben, VIP Tech from across the pond, said he ordered the Apple Watch. Which watch did you order, Ben? Did you order the SE, the 8, or the Ultra? Let me know which one you ordered. I'm curious. He says, I may cancel it though. There you go. We have Infernal the X in the house says hi. Shout out. So yeah, let's just go through them. Let's check out some of the different products they talked about today. They announced a fair amount, but nothing that I was really overly impressed with. But let's go ahead and let's take a look. Let's jump in here. So this is the first one right here. And let me see if I can add this in there. Let me see if we can get this one. Let's see if we can get this cracking here. And so this here is the Apple Watch SE. And we can see right here. Let's see. Let's go through this first. The Apple Watch SE. We can click on there. We can learn more about it. Let's click and see what they have to say. This one is going to be sort of a scaled down version of it, of the Apple Watch. And we can see here, this one's going to be available starting next week. You can get it at $249. I like to think of this as sort of like a starter, starter watch there. So if you're just getting into the to Apple's Apple Watch, or just getting into the Apple ecosphere and you don't have a lot of money to spend, but you want an Apple Watch, this is a low-cost way to get into it. So there's that. You can see it has a lot of the same features you're going to get with the other Apple Watches. You're going to get some colors in there. It's swim suitable, as they say. You're going to get all your metrics there for your workouts. You're going to have your fitness. You'll be able to use the fitness. They're going to have crash detection in there. You're going to be able to have your heart rate, all the stuff, the mindfulness, and all that stuff in there. Most of these Apple Watches have the same features in the watches there. So you can have, they have the family setup and all that stuff in there. You're going to get all your apps in there that you can use. Mostly, you're going to get probably 80 to 90% of everything you're going to get on an Apple Watch 8, you're going to get on the SE. So there is that. Now, when we move up here, let's see, let's go, this is going to be $249. And let's see, if we go back over here and let's go up here to the Apple Watch 8, and we'll hit learn now, or learn more, excuse me. And you'll see it says it's a healthy leap ahead, and they're going to have some they'll have all their graphics where they're going to try and convince you that there's such a huge difference between this one. I didn't see that there's such a huge difference between the 8 and the SE. It says it's going to have more. It says it has more sensors with the temperature sensing. It has crash detection, which it seems like all the Apple Watches have. It has sleep stages to better understand your sleep. It's interesting. One of the things that they talked about with this one is that you get up to 36 hours of battery life, but you have to put it in low power mode, and that's a feature that's already available on your Apple Watches. You can already put it in low power mode and have a few fewer, you know, features and stuff going on, but still get longer battery life if you put it in low power mode. So it looks like they're going to give you some more features, a little bit more accessibility to different apps on the Apple Watch when you have it in low power mode. But, you know, as we can see, the watch looks basically the same. You know, the bands are looking very similar. Like you see the magnetic bands there. The complications, I imagine, are going to be available on all the watches regardless of, you know, which one you get, unless it's one of those specific complications like, or faces like the Nike one or the Hermes one. It's swim proof down to 50, to WR50, I guess, which I think is 50 meters or something like that. IPX6 certification for dust, crack resistant. That's pretty much all of them as far as I know. So you're going to get all the same, you know, you're going to get the O2. Now I think the 8 may have some, you know, I think it may have the blood O2 and I think that temperature thing, which the SE doesn't have. So these are some of the features that you're going to get on this. And let's see, I'm not even sure what this one starts off at. Let's go and see what the price is on it. I wasn't sure if it even showed up there on the very front of the screen there. I don't think it did. So let's go ahead and hit order and see what this is going to cost you if you order it. So let's see, the basic one here is going to start at $399. And so if you move up, I imagine, to a higher, to a more expensive or a larger one, it's probably going to go up here. So we can see that you can start to see it goes up a little bit. If you get the aluminum case, that's going to be $449. If you get the stainless steel case, you're going to look at $699. Yeah, so let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's click on this one. We'll click the silver one there. And let's go to the 45, and that's going to be $429. That's for the basic one. If you get GPS and cellular, you're looking at $529 for the basic silver one there. So, yeah, I mean, I'm curious. Let me check your comments. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Let me see if anybody, let's see if anybody is interested in these watches. It says, Big Ben says you lose a lot of the sensors and always on with the SE. So there you go. So that looks like you're going to lose the sensors and the always on with the SE, which is unfortunate. But it is a lower cost version. As you can see, if we go back and we look right quick, you can see here that for the 45 millimeter one that's without the cellular, you're looking at $429. So it's almost half price. It's not quite, but you're heading into the it's about $180 cheaper or something like that, the SE. So it really depends on what your needs are. But I have to say, when I looked at all of these, let's see, Big Ben says you lose O2, heat, ECG. So yeah, so you're looking at losing the always on and some of the sensors. Now, if that's something that's important to you, then yeah, you definitely want to step up and go to the 8 versus the SE. And I mean, I use the sensors. I use the sensors personally. Mainly the sensor I use is the heart rate sensor, but it looks like that's on the SE. I do use the always on display. I love the always on display. I would not want to go back. If I had to go back to not having the always on display, I would just go and wear a different watch. I would go grab myself, I'd grab my old Garmin Phoenix or maybe one of my Polar watches or something like that. But this is the watch. Out of everything on here, of everything announced today, there's one product that I think I might actually buy, that I kind of want to buy for myself. I'll probably get an iPhone because every year I get a new iPhone and a new Android phone. And I already got my Z Flip 4 this year. I usually get one small iPhone, or one small phone, one big phone. This year's a small phone on the Android side, a large phone on the iPhone side. So I'll probably get the 14 Pro Max. I haven't quite decided, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. But let's go ahead and take a quick look at the watch that the product I think I want to get, actually, that I'm sort of halfway excited about getting, this year, and that is the Watch Ultra. It says introducing the most rugged, capable Apple Watch ever, made to withstand extreme conditions. Oops, let me see if I can bring you guys in here so you can check that out. There we go. So it says introducing the most rugged and capable Apple Watch, made to withstand extreme conditions, designed for athletes of all kinds with specialized bands and endurance training, bands for endurance training, outdoor adventures, and water sports. So, and if we look into it, they give you all kinds of exciting lifestyle photos to make it seem like, you know, I mean, most people aren't doing all that. Most people are not extreme athletes and scuba diving and climbing mountains and everything else. Yeah, but it says, meet the most capable Apple Watch ever with the robust titanium case, precision dual frequency GPS, up to 36 hours of battery. There is a little tag, there is a little thing on there that says 1. I'm going to click that and see what that says. And also says the freedom of cellular, and 3 specialized bands made for athletes and adventurers of all kinds. Let's click that little 1 and see what that 1 says there. It says all-day battery life is based on the following use: 180 time checks, 180 notifications, 90 minutes of app use, and 60 minutes of workout with music playback and Apple Watch via Bluetooth over the course of 36 hours. Apple Watch GPS plus cellular usage includes a total of 8 hours. So if you work out and you use the GPS and you have your cellular on, expect you're only going to get 8 hours of LTE and 28 hours connection to phone and Bluetooth. So you're not going to get the full 36. It says testing conducted in by Apple in August 22. Using pre-production Apple Watch Ultra GPS cellular paired with an iPhone. All devices tested with pre-release software. Battery life varies by use, configuration, cellular network, signal strength, and many other factors. Actual results may vary. So, there you go. This one's going to be available starting on the 23rd, and you can watch the, it looks like you can watch the event there. But this one does look really nice. I'm not sure if it's worth 800 bucks. That's kind of where I'm not sure if it's worth 800 bucks. I mean, but you can see sort of it does have a flat sort of lifted bezel instead of sort of the rounded edges it currently has. You know, it says looks tough because it is. You know, it's so funny and ironic to me that they've been talking about how tough this thing is when Apple's just had all these commercials about how tough their regular Apple Watches are. Those commercials have been everywhere for like the last month or 2, and now they released this Ultra talking about how tough it is. Well, if your other iPhones or other Apple Watches are so tough, why do we need an Ultra? So, but it has a 49mm titanium case. The titanium thing seems pretty premium. Water resistance to 100 meters. That's about 300 feet if I'm not mistaken. Tested to military standards of 810H3, whatever that is. It has IPX6 dust resistance, so you should be able to take this out in the desert somewhere if you're sandboarding or maybe you're out there in a dune buggy or something. We can see we now have this button here, that fast action button there, so you can quickly tap that to do whatever pre-programmed thing you have, or you can use it as a selection button, I believe. If you have gloves on and you can't access your touchscreen, you can navigate with the crown and then use this as the selection button. So there we go. We can see it says Wayfinder watch face with night mode. That kind of looks cool. I think that's just a software thing. I feel like that's something that they can give you on any Apple Watch. I feel like that's just a software feature. You can see it says ready for action. It has the speakers on there and the mics so that you get better sound quality for using the watch as, you know, as a phone. And it has, they did say that it had that nice loud, it's a nice loud, you know, decibel feature that you can use if you're stranded somewhere, you're in, you know, maybe you're injured, you're trying to notify the people around you that you're there, you're hurt. You can hit that. It sends this very loud, it's like 180 decibel sound out to people to let them know you're hurt. Sort of like an SOS signal. You know, it has, you know, you can see there it has a GPS, it has a GPS antenna, dual speakers, all that good stuff. It's just, it seems like it's kind of cool. This is probably this is probably the biggest change they've made to the Apple Watch in a number of years, and it's welcomed. It's welcomed. Now, again, this 36 hours, it says for normal use, it says up to 60 hours in low power setting coming soon. I don't understand why they don't have this activated now. This low power setting seems like it's just a flick of a switch to put it in low power. Like they already have it. They already have that setting in the iPhone, in the Apple Watch 8, and they talked about it in the keynote. They talked about it. They sort of made a point to discuss that. Why is that not available immediately on the Ultra? Literally, it's just a software feature. It's nothing that needs. It's not a hardware thing. It's just a software thing that says, boop, there you go. And the software is just going to simply say, limit these notifications, limit these sensors, limit the the auto tracking of workouts and stuff like that. What I mean by auto tracking is if you're out walking, let's say you decide you're going to go for a walk and you forget to start your Apple Watch workout, it'll just start auto tracking. So after like 10 minutes, it'll ask you, do you want to start tracking your workout? You click yes, and there you go. So it just limits things like that. I'm not sure if it turns off your always on display, or maybe it makes it a minimal always on display. But it seems like if they already have it activated on the 8, it should be on the Ultra right away. So, I don't know. Let's see. Big Ben says, do you hear your keen to hear your thoughts on losing the physical SIM? Yeah. Let's let's do this. Let me go back over here. Let me just finish up on this, and then we're heading right into the Apple Watches. So then we'll talk about that. That's one of the things I don't like. But I do like this. I like the fact that they have these different bands. I'm not sure which one I will get. I kind of like this one right here, partly because of the orange and partly because of the way that it fastens. I really like that there. Apple's really all about their lifestyle stuff, really trying to sell you on the lifestyle. They're very much like GoPro in that manner, where they try and sell you on this lifestyle. Like if you buy this watch, all of a sudden you're going to be an ultra marathoner running through the deserts of the world. And that's just not likely. I mean, the amount of people that are doing this are probably such a small fraction of their audience. It's sort of ridiculous that that's what they're featuring here. But, they're selling a lifestyle. So, but I do like that look. That looks very nice. To me, that's one of the better looking watches digital watches, smart watches I've seen in a long time. And if I can get 36 hours out of it, that's about what I'm getting right now with my Galaxy Watch. And so I'm happy with that for the moment. I would much prefer to have at least like 4 days of battery life, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Now, this is what I was talking about. It has this 86 decibel siren that allows you to be heard up to 180 meters away. I said 180 decibels because I was thinking the 180 meters, but so it's about 86 decibels. You can hear it about 600 feet away or 180 meters away. So, and again, they're advertising this 60 hours. I always tell people, do not buy a product based on what's promised. Buy a product on what is delivered today, because they'll promise you something and then maybe there's some software hiccup or they can't deliver what they promised, and so they push it back and push it back and push it back, and you bought a watch thinking, oh, this is great, my new Apple Watch is going to give me 60 hours of battery life, and you find out that it's really not. So, I would really only buy what they're offering today and assume if they give you 60 hours in the future, it's just a nice bonus, but don't expect it. So, yeah. Anyways, this is one thing I like. I like this loop right there. I like the way that fastens right there. I like the look of the band. So, all right, let's get on. Let's move over and let's see. Big Ben asked if I was keen on my thoughts of the on losing the physical SIM, and so I'll be honest with you, man. That is one of those things that frustrates me to no end. I feel like Apple's always trying to take something away that people actually like and people actually use. Now, they're trying to make it seem like it's going to be so quick and easy to just switch over from one SIM to the other, and it's not, or you're going to be able to have multiple SIMs on there. It's never going to be that easy. The carriers are never going to make it that easy. They're going to try and make it so it's difficult on your end, like you try and switch SIMs, and then there's going to be a delay of when your service is active. And here's the thing for me, I have multiple phones. These are just the 2 phones that I'm carrying right now. I also have a Z Fold 3. I also have a S22 Ultra. I have numerous other smartphones. People send me phones to review. Some of them I just use. I plan on getting a Pixel 7 this year. There's sometimes I don't want to have to worry about dealing with the carrier at all. I want to be able to go ahead, take a little SIM ejector tool, pop my SIM card out, put it in the new phone, and then just start using it. That's what I want to do. I generally don't save my contacts and stuff to my SIM. I usually save everything to Google, everything on there, so that as soon as I go ahead, or in the sense of Apple, everything's saved to iCloud, so that when I go ahead and put my new SIM card into a phone, all I'm using the SIM card for is to access the network. Everything else is on either on the hardware side where it's on the phone itself, or it's saved in some sort of cloud service and I'm just pulling from there. So this idea of now having to go through this headache of switching SIMs and deactivating SIMs and maybe reactivating on another phone if I want to switch for a day or two or for a week or two, that just seems like a hassle that I don't want to have to deal with. I mean, maybe it turns out not to be a big deal, but I don't like it. I don't like it. Maybe as people will say, you're just getting old and curmudgeonly and you don't like change. I'm okay with change. I don't like change that is unnecessarily disruptive. And I don't see any advantage to this. I don't see that the phone looks any smaller or thinner, or that the battery life is going to be any significantly, it's going to be significantly better because they utilize that room. I just don't see the advantage of it. The only thing I see is that maybe they worked with the carriers, and the carriers are saying, can you get rid of the SIM because we're tired of paying for them. We're tired of buying SIM cards. We're tired of having to replace SIM cards. There's not a big problem. They said, well, no one can steal your SIM card. No one can physically remove the SIM card and just, I mean, that's not a problem right now. Even if you lost your phone and someone removed the SIM card and took it out, unless you don't have a lock on your phone, unless you don't have a password lock and you don't have any security on your phone, they're not going to be able to use your phone. They're not going to be able to unlock your phone to reset it and then start using it. So your phone is basically worthless nowadays if you lose it. Unless you're dealing with professionals who are like professional thieves and all that stuff, that's a different story. In that case, it doesn't matter if you have an eSIM or a regular SIM. If you're dealing with professionals, they're going to learn how to get around the eSIM thing anyways, because some people already currently use eSIMs. I'm sure they already know how to get around that today. So it's just, that just seems bogus, the whole thing about, someone not being able to just pop the SIM out. And it just really seems like the carriers are tired of paying for SIM cards, and I don't know, man. I'm frustrated with that. I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing that at all. All right. Amda Brown says, not to mention the price hike on all the Apple ecosystem. They do have some prices that are going up. Some of them are staying the same, but they do have some prices that are going up. I can't say that I am disappointed about that, because I'm not shocked by it. That's the thing. I'm not shocked at the price hike. Well, I mean, we're in the middle of, we're dealing with a recession. People are trying not to say we're in a recession, but we're really sort of in a recession or teetering on one. Inflation has really been high. And so for prices to go up, I'm not surprised. Am I disappointed? Yeah, sure. Nobody wants to pay higher prices, but I'm not surprised in the slightest. So, yeah, well, look at this. We have Steve McMillan in the building, says hello. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to Gregorio in the building. Big ups to you. Shout out to Tom McCann in the house. Yeah, so let's head on in. Let's go take a look further on, and let's head over to the AirPods Pro. So the new AirPods Pro. Now this one here. This right here might have been this might have been one of the most disappointing ones, one of the most disappointing things I saw here. And you can see it says Apple announces the next generation of AirPods Pro, and we can see what they look like here. They look exactly the same as the old ones. And I was really looking forward to a redesign of the AirPods Pro. I was hoping they would get rid of the stem because I hate the stem. For instance, I have a pair of AirPods. I have them. I use them. They sound great, but I don't like the stems. And when I'm using these things, you know, I'll put these in my ear, and like you see there, they look stupid. They just look stupid. I don't like them. They just look dumb. And so they're not, yeah, they're just not for me. They just look dumb. But the other thing is, my wife, who I was trying to find the perfect pair of earbuds for, she does not like that stem at all. In fact, she said she does not want these because of the stem. And it used to be that the stem with the original AirPods was like it was sort of like a little calling card. It was sort of like saying, look, I have the Apple stuff. But the thing is, everybody now has a pair of earbuds that have that same design. You don't know if someone's wearing AirPods or a pair of some knockoffs that they bought for $20 on Amazon, because they all look almost exactly the same. So, let's see. Stephen Millen said, did you talk about the phone yet? No, we're about to get to the phone in just a moment, but we are going to get there in just a hot second. So let me get there. We're gonna actually, I think after we talk about these AirPods, we're gonna head on over to the phone. So, you know, I'm curious to know I'm curious to hear how they sound. They did say that they're going to have better. They're going to have, let me see if I can bring you in here again. They're supposed to have better noise cancellation, and I'm really interested to see how they sound. It says new low distortion audio driver, custom amplifier offers richer bass, crystal clear sound, while extra small ear tips deliver even better fit. They have breakthrough audio with that new H2 chip. So it says it's the lightweight, ultra compact power. And it's and that H2 chip is supposed to deliver, I guess, whatever it needs to deliver better noise cancellation. So it says precise and immense sound, immersive sound. I really thought they were going to offer lossless audio. It says it's going to have the spatial audio that you can use with this, but it doesn't say that it's going to have the lossless audio. So if you wanted to use, want to listen to, say, like Tidal or one of the other services that offers like uncompressed FLAC files or whatever, that you can. It doesn't look like you're going to get that. And I think you need the new Bluetooth 5.3 or 5.4, whichever one it is, that's going to allow that to happen. And they do now have a touchscreen on here. You have simple swipes, so you can actually change the volume on there. That's something that I think they had to do, because there were so many people that, so many other brands that were offering that same exact feature. And I think a lot of people were just saying, I think I'm going to get these other ones. They sound just as good, and they have other features. Now, this is they really push this new case where they have some features on here, like they have a lanyard hole on there so that you can put this on a lanyard if that's something that you're into. I never do that. I know some people do. I don't carry these things around my wrist. I'm not going to put it around my neck. I'm not going to hang it by anything. I just stick them in my pocket. That's it. I don't care if the case gets scratched up, because the case is to protect the earbuds. I'm not trying to protect the case as well. Now, this right here I think is kind of cool right here, where I guess it has this little speaker system down there where you can actually hear it if you lose it. Now, this to me I think is valuable, because if you have say a visual impairment like my buddy down under does, Big Ben, this might be fantastic if you can actually activate that sound so that you can actually hear where your your AirPods case is. That can be a very big help, no doubt. Not just that it could work for people who are visually impaired, but it could work for everyone. But I can see how this could be particularly handy for people who are visually impaired. Now we can see here, that's the little lanyard thing. I just never carry my stuff like that. I don't see it happening, won't do it. I mean, the emoji thing is cute, it's not necessary. It's just, it's one of those things, it's like, it's nothing new about the actual device. Let's see, it's gonna be $249, which is about where the, the old ones started when they had them. The AirPods, right, the original AirPods Pro, I think are now, you can get them for around $199. Sometimes you see them on sale for about $175. But I believe when they first came out, they were about $249. So the price hasn't really gone up. They just put the price at where the old retail price was for the AirPods Pro, the original AirPods Pro. So, are they worth it? I don't know. I mean, I have to test them and see. I'm inclined to say that there's so many good other earbuds out there that I'm not sure I'm going to go and switch to them because, for one, I don't like the stems. I do like the active noise cancellation on the AirPods Pro. I think they're fantastic, but I don't think I want to pay for another pair of them just for the active noise cancellation. So, all right, let's move on here. Let's move on. Let's go talk about the phones, and let's see. Let's head on over to, let's go jump back into the browser here, and let's head over to the iPhones. Now, they did come out with 4 different phones this year, and we have the iPhone 14, the iPhone 4, and the iPhone 14 Plus, and then we have the Pro models as well. So we can see here that we're going to get 2 different sizes. We're going to get the iPhone 14, which is going to be, it's going to be 6.1 inches, and then we have the iPhone 14 Plus, which is going to be 6.7 inches. So this is going to be a big boy right here. And this phone actually is supposed to have the best battery life out of all of the iPhones this year, even better than the Pro and the Pro Max. And I believe that is because this phone is supposed to have the larger battery, and it has the older chip, the A15, which I believe is not quite resource intensive. So I believe it's going to be able to run a little bit more efficiently. But we can see right there what they look like. I'm not sure if they told us what the battery capacities were in there. We may have to wait for someone to do a breakdown. Apple rarely tells us what the capacity is right away. But you can see it's going to have an A15 Bionic chip, 5-core GPU, all that good stuff in there. Basically, it's the same chip as last year, really, because I believe that's the same chip that's in the 13 Pro and Pro Max. But it's going to have the always-on display there. It's going to have the eSIM, which means you're no longer going to be able to get rid of, just pop your SIM card out. I believe they're going to have all the same features they had in the past with MagSafe and all that. You can see one of the ways to tell the difference between the Pro and the Pro Max is that they're going to have 2 cameras instead of 3 cameras on there. You're going to have these different colors, like I believe this is granite, blue, I believe that's white, lavender, I think it is, and then product red. So, they talk about all. Now, this is something that I find that's interesting, and this is that they are going to have, I guess, a brighter screen now, where it says technology supports 1200 nits, which is a little bit brighter than last year. I think last year it maxed out at like 1000 nits or something. And you're gonna have, dust resistance, all that good stuff on there. It's if I sound sort of blasé about it, is because I am sort of just like, yeah, we've seen it all before. Everything is like a mild incremental upgrade. So, they say, like here, they're saying the photonic engine is a giant leap forward in low light performance. Okay, maybe it is, but it already had great low light performance. So the fact that they're giving us better low light performance, okay, that's kind of nice. But I don't shoot in the dark that rarely. It's not that often that I just go and grab my smartphone and say, let me go shoot in pitch black. I don't do it that much. Now we can see it's going to have a 12 megapixel main camera, and it says a new front true depth camera and ultra wide camera as well. So it looks like the max resolution you're going to get on this is a 12 megapixel camera. Now, here's the thing. Apple always delivers really nice cameras. They're nice image quality with their cameras. They do. They look fantastic. And we can scroll through and see how they look there. They look beautiful. Look at that. That looks fantastic. No doubt. I'm not dogging them at all. I mean, you look at the clarity there. That just looks absolutely fantastic. Their eyes are crisp. You can see all the details in their eyelashes and every strand of their hair. It looks fantastic. It really does. You know, it's just there's really nice dynamic range in there. You know, they're getting the skin tones right for people of color, which I like to see. That's one thing that Google had really talked about this last year, was helping getting the skin tones right. It looks like Apple is getting on board with that as well. This is something I like to see. You can see that red. Red is really hard, for some reason, for cell phones to handle, because it starts to get all blown out and they make it too red and it's all solarized. It looks weird. It looks like they're handling the reds a little bit better. It's not perfect, but they're doing a lot better than they have in years past. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'm not sure if that's like a real shirt or some sort of artistic thing. So I guess they're talking about the flash, I guess, on there is brighter. I almost never use the flash on my phone. I use my flash for a flashlight, and that's pretty much it. You can see there it says it's mass improvement in low light there. I don't know if this is the best. I don't know if this is the best photo to represent low light, because you have an obvious light source right here. I don't know if this is supposed to be at nighttime and there's light, but there's clearly light coming through here. You clearly have a dark-skinned person, so you're going to have this contrast anyways. Even if it was daytime and this person was flooded with light, you're still going to have contrast in there, because you're going to have this bright area and this dark area. To me, this is a better example of their dynamic range rather than it is their low light capability. But I guess you would have to see. I would rather see a shot. I'd rather see a shot with like a different camera to show what it looks like in comparison, because this doesn't. You don't really get an idea of how this is doing a great job as a low light situation. Yeah. So. Anyways, again, here are the main cameras, 1.5 aperture. The true depth camera on the front is going to give you a 1.9 aperture. You're going to get all the regular modes you normally get on here. You're going to get ultra wide camera, improved true tone, cinematic mode. Now, this is one thing that I am excited about, is that you do get the cinematic mode in 4K. And this is something before that we didn't have. Right now, the cinematic mode only gives you 1080p, and that's one reason why I just didn't use it, because I don't shoot in 1080p anymore. Now, you can shoot in 1080p and up-res it. There's a software called I think it's called Video Enhanced by Topaz, and I think it's Video Enhanced AI by Topaz, and I'm actually about to review it. But that one is nice. It allows you to upscale and up-res your video. And so with the 1080p video, you could do that. But now you can shoot in 4K. It's really nice. What I'm concerned about is that they didn't improve sort of the AI behind the cinematic video, whereas you have better edge detection from what I've seen with Samsung's video modes, or their cinema modes, or whatever they call it, portrait video, and they have better edge detection with photos too. I didn't hear Apple say anything about the edge detection improving, which tells me that they haven't improved it at all yet. So, yeah, it says end-to-end Dolby Vision HDR, which, I mean, it's nice, but it's kind of useless in a lot of ways, because, I mean, you can't really see the Dolby Vision HDR unless you're on a screen that actually supports it. Most of us don't have those screens. Most of our TVs don't support them. You can get them on, maybe if you have one of the fancy high-end Apple phone or Apple, like XDR screens, whatever they call them, that they have for their computers. But most people will never see that image quality, the way that looks for them. So now this right here, this to me, it looks like just a straight up gimmick in a lot of ways. It looks like a gimmick. This sort of gimbal-like feature. This is nothing more than just cropping in on the image and then allowing the software to further stabilize it in camera. Is it nice to have? Sure, it's nice to have. This is not something new at all. This is nothing new. This is the same thing that if you have Final Cut Pro, this is the same thing Final Cut Pro does. This is the same thing that Adobe Premiere does. This is the same thing that GoPro does when you turn on like their hyper smooth and you put it on high. That's what it does. It crops in on the image because it's just basically saying, okay, we're going to use the extra space around the image to adjust for all the shakes and the wobbles and everything else. And so what you're going to have is just a smaller amount of that frame that's shown. You can see right here how wide this is with the action mode off. You can even see the top. You can see the top of the lights there. You can see more of the clouds, and you can see here it's a much tighter shot. So, I mean, that's really what's going on. And is it okay? Sure, it's all right, but it's not like the image stabilization with the with the iPhones was bad. It was already pretty good. So to have this is okay, but I don't think it's not necessary to talk about it as a feature. So let me just jump into the comments, see what you guys have to say about this. Let's see here. Let me jump in. Let me scroll back a little bit. And let's see. We have, oh man, why does this dude have to come in here with his trash? I don't understand why people have to do that. Anyways, you're blocked, homie. So yes, I did. Thank you, Tim, for seeing that. I had to get rid of that dude. Didn't realize he was in there like that. Shout out to Charles in the house. Let's see. Leon says, I'm currently using the iPhone 12 Pro Max, but the 14 does give you more features that I really want. I like that dynamic island crash and satellite features. Plus 4K cinema is welcome. Yeah, I feel like if you have an older iPhone, if you have maybe like an iPhone 12 or 11 or XR or something like that, I think this is a worthy upgrade. But if you bought a new iPhone last year, if you have the iPhone 13, I'm not sure this is such a big deal. Now, if you bought the iPhone 13 because you were someone who films a lot on your iPhone and you were like, I want that cinema mode because I don't have a mirrorless camera and I want to shoot with that cinema mode and get that nice bokeh in the background, or you're an iPhoneographer and you really want that background like that, then sure, I think that having the 4K cinema mode is a worthy upgradable feature. But for the most part, I don't think that you're going to get anything from this phone that's going to be so game-changing that you have to have it if you currently have a 13 or a 13 Pro. Now, I will say that, I mean, some of this stuff like this, right? Like, like Leon was talking about, he likes the crash and the satellite features. That's one of those things where I think Apple really hooks people in with their marketing and their lifestyle that they're selling us. Because how often are you on top of a mountain? How often are you out by yourself in the middle of a desert somewhere where you're going to be stranded and you need to have that satellite access? I mean, because it's not like you can use that satellite access to just text whoever you want whenever you want. It's communicating directly with emergency services. And so it's not as useful, I think, as some people might imagine if they think, well, if I'm in an area and I don't have a signal, I can just go ahead and follow the satellite and text my friends. That's not the way they presented it. It presented it as it sends messages directly to emergency services only. So that dynamic island, That to me seems like such a gimmick. That to me seems like they are marketing the notch. That seems like that's what they are doing. They are just marketing the notch that we have on our phones. Currently, that is the iPhone 13. That's the iPhone 13 Pro. And it looks like they're just marketing the notch and calling it a island and putting some data. They're expanding the black area around that notch, and they are, you know, putting some information in there as it expands and calling it an island and marketing that to us as a feature. I'm not falling for it. I am not falling for it, Apple. That is not a feature. That's a notch, and we don't want the notch. If you really want to do something for us, get rid of the notch. Period. Just get rid of it. And then give us something else. Give us a drop down, whatever it is. But we don't need an island. What we need is not a notch. So, yeah. So, let's see what else we have here. Let's see, we have Lady Z in the building. Let's see, 4Walk and Ghana Video says, so it's not a gimmick. Says it can replace action cameras for most vloggers. 4Walk and Ghana Videos, I'm going to tell you why this, to me, is not going to replace action cameras for vloggers. And that's because there's no screen on the back of the iPhone. Now, if Apple did something like Xiaomi did, or did something like Samsung did, where you have your camera on, and then you can go ahead and push a button, and now you have your screen on the front on, just like that, you know, and you can double tap it and change the aspect ratio, so you can vlog and you can see your entire self like that. Now, this is what it looks like when you're vlogging. That's great, because now you can keep yourself framed up properly. If Apple did something to that effect, then I would say it's not a gimmick, but I think it is actually a gimmick. All right, hold on everyone, just a second. I forgot to do something, and that is I forgot to plug in my camera, and I don't want the battery to go dead here, so give me just a second to get this plugged in here. There we go. All right, let me get plugged in and come back around. I saw the battery on my camera dropping down there quick, so yeah. All right, let's see if we all right. Now if it says no Final Cut Pro or Adobe stabilizations aren't gimbal-like, only GoPro and action camera stabilizations are the best. Now, I will say this, yes, both GoPros and gimbals have that great stabilization, but here's the thing, is when you already start with really good stabilization and then you run it through something, you know, like I already forgot what it's even called in Premiere and in Final Cut, because I just don't use it anymore. But when you run through it, when you run good footage through there, then you get that really nice looking gimbal-like stabilization. Now, if you're starting with footage where it doesn't have any image stabilization and then you run it through there, yeah, it's not going to look that great. But Apple's iPhone footage already looks good with just the basic stabilization, and so if you ran it through there, it's already going to look good. Now, maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe what you want is to have it happen right there in camera, but then you have to, again, then you have to go ahead and sacrifice the, you know, having your image cropped in. And so there is that. All right. So it says, well, so you're saying the image crop is a gimmick and camera and your cell phone on yourself, and you mean you don't have to carry a GoPro action. I actually like carrying my GoPro or an action camera. I usually carry one all the time because I still prefer to shoot with an action camera, because I can't, I'll tell you one thing that has been different is having the Z Flip. And the reason why I prefer shooting with an action camera over my iPhone when I'm vlogging is because I can't see myself. Sure, I can turn this around and I can try and get it framed up where I normally have it, but you're always guessing. Part of being able to shoot and shoot comfortably is being confident that you're getting the shot, and I'm never 100% confident when I'm shooting with my iPhone because I can't see myself until after I've already done my shot. So yeah, the stabilization thing, I don't know. Maybe if they came out with an iPhone, a rugged version of the iPhone, and they were like, here it is, here's the new image stabilization that's built in, and here's the ruggedized version of the phone. You can use this and replace it to replace your action camera, you know, and they showed people having the thing strapped to their chest or their head. Maybe I would think of it like that, but nah, it feels like a gimmick to me. Feels like a gimmick. Let's see, we have Alex Cruz in the house. Shout out, Lynn Hodges in the building. Big ups. Let's see. So maybe I'm hyped because I have an iPhone. Yes, you. I'm the Brown. For you, this is a big step forward. And I would say if you have an older iPhone, like an iPhone, you know, like an iPhone XS, something like that, yes, go ahead, upgrade, definitely, no doubt. No, and I'll probably upgrade myself, but I'm just not as excited about it because the features that I'm seeing on here aren't that impressive, and the features I wanted to see are not on here. But I'll talk about that once we get to the iPhone. Once we get to the iPhone 14 Pro Maxes. So let's see. Tim says I'm not that hyped at all. I'm not that hyped at all. Not an Apple fan. Straight up Android for me. I use both. I'm not going to say I'm a fanboy for either one. I generally use my Android more than my iPhone because I find that I like the operating system better on my Android phone. I will tell you one thing that's very disappointing for me this year is that I was expecting a lot from the camera system because they didn't give us much last year. I was expecting a lot this year, and they just didn't deliver. So. Let's see here. Let's see. Pedro says, I just like the tablets. I see that. Omni Brown says, I didn't mean vlogging with the crop. I mean using the phone as an action camera for videoing something other than yourself. Example, kids, basketball. Yeah, I mean, I can see that, I guess, if you're running around with your kids and you're holding it doing that, I can see where that might be nice like that. Sure, that can be a use for it, and I can see where that would be nice, no doubt. Let's see. Alex Cruz says the new AirPods look kind of the same as the second generation ones. I mean, come on, Apple, why? I feel you. I wanted something different. I really did with those AirPods. I wanted them to get rid of the stems. I wanted them to give us some colors. I mean, why are we only still have white AirPods? Why can't we get AirPods to match the color of the phones? Why can't we get a purple pair of AirPods or product red AirPods or the granite colored ones or whatever they call the silver, the all kinds of space gray? Why can't we get the Sierra blue? Why can't we get the different colors like they have for the phones on the AirPods? Why can't we just have all of that? I don't understand why they're just sticking with white. It just doesn't make any sense to me. All right, let's move on. Let's move on here. So, anyways, this is the iPhone. This is the iPhone 14. You get the crash detection. You get the SOS via satellite. If that's something that you need, I don't suspect I'm going to crash into a banana truck anytime soon. I don't think I'm going to be up in some remote area by myself or with, one other person and need satellite emergency services. If I do, I'll be happy I have my iPhone, but I don't expect that I'm going to need it all that often. Gaming, it's sort of like, the performance on the games are already great. They didn't spend that much time on it because the game developers are not just developing just for Apple. They're developing for Android too, and because Android processors are so far behind, anything Apple puts out today is going to be, is going to work flawlessly. So, you can get Apple Fitness Plus for all iPhone users if that's something that you use. A lot of these things people aren't using quite as much anymore because everybody's going back to the gym and back outside. But it's nice to have. I wish they didn't charge for it, but whatever. iOS 16, they're featuring that. I don't think that's a big deal because iOS 16 is something that's going to be available on every single iPhone, I think, from, I think, every iPhone that's supported, which I think is from the iPhone, I think everything from the iPhone 8, or maybe they stopped supporting the 8 this year. And I think it's like the 10, 10S, XR, all that. So I think all that, I mean, there's like 4 or 5 years of iPhones that are going to be supported. So to me, that's not so much a feature. It's just, it is what it is. In fact, in many times, you have to upgrade. Otherwise, some of the apps that you have won't even work. So it's not even so much a feature as in it's a mandatory thing that they require that you do. So I do like the always on display. I think that's dope. Long overdue. Android has had that for a very, very long time. I love the fact they're finally bringing it to Apple. You know, I like the fact this is starting at $7.99. Doesn't look like they went up on prices too much. They are starting the other one, the Plus, at $8.99, which I understand it's a little bit larger phone there. So, yeah. All right. Let's let me just take a quick look at the pricing here and see. I'm not sure what let's see what, oops, nope, that's not the one I wanted. I want the phones. Let me scroll up here to the phones, the 14s. Let me see what the pricing is on here. So it looks like if you grab the 14, the base model here, it looks like it's going to be $7.99, and that one is going to be, it doesn't even, let's see, it's going to be, so it looks like for the base model, it's going to be 128 gigs, and then they have a 256 for $8.99 and a 512 gig model for $10.99. And if you get the Plus, it's going to start at $8.99, and we'll just click on there so we can go. Then you're going to get 128 gigs. That's going to be $8.99. 256 is going to be $9.99, and 512 is going to be $11.99. I really wish they would have, and I really wish everyone would do this, would stop with the 128 gig mess. Start us at 256 and go up to 1 terabyte. Just start there, start at 256, go to 1 terabyte. This is kind of ridiculous. 128 gigs, the apps today take up so much space, and because they're giving you higher resolution photos and higher resolution video, people are filling their phones up to, I mean, just so quick. I couldn't, if I bought a 128 gig model, I couldn't even do the transfer from my phone because I have a 512 and I think I have like 180 gigs left on here. So I couldn't even, if I bought a 256, I couldn't even do the transfer. They should at least be starting you at 256 and then letting you go up from there. So, especially because you can shoot ProRes, you can shoot ProRes video, and ProRes video takes up an enormous amount of space. Those are very, very large photos. They should be starting at least 256. So, yeah. All right. Let's take a look over here at the Pro versions, the iPhone Pro Maxes. We have the, let me just go ahead right quick and jump back over here and see what kind of comments we have before we head over to the Pro Max section. So, and yes, this is Amda Brown. This is one of the main things that I'm going to talk about here. Is not so much the USB-C, because I was not expecting Apple to give us USB-C. I think they may do it next year, or I think next year they'll either give us USB-C or they're getting rid of the port altogether. And that's largely in part of the fact that they are dealing with Europe, who is requiring that all these devices have a universal charging port. And for them, and they are saying either it's USB-C or I guess nothing. And I guess for Apple, I think what they're thinking about doing is getting rid of the ports altogether and just making their phones wireless charging only, either with MagSafe or the key wireless charging standard, which I think would be just catastrophic for their phones as a creation tool, but we'll see. But yes, this is one thing that disappointed me, is I hate that Apple didn't give us 8K video. And as we look in here and we scroll down and we take a look here, we can see it says featuring always on display, the first ever 48 megapixel camera on the iPhone, crash detection, emergency SOS via satellite, and an innovative way to receive notifications and activities with the dynamic island. I cannot believe that. That to me just seems like an insult to our intelligence. This idea that they are going to market the notch to us as a dynamic island. It's a notch that you refuse to engineer out of your phone, and you're gonna try and then market it as a feature. Is just an insult to our intelligence. I don't like it. Now the always on display, it's nice. Again, a feature that's been available on Android for years. People always end up saying Apple today equals Android 3 years ago, and I hate to admit it, but it's true. It continues to be true. I don't understand why Apple is always so late to the party. The 48 megapixels on the camera is very, very welcome, but I am so thoroughly disappointed by their cameras. Now, as you know, when you watch my channel, I am a photographer, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a vlogger, and for me, what these devices are, to me, are largely cameras with other stuff wrapped around them. And Apple just did not deliver with the cameras this time. So we'll take a look, we'll take a scroll down here. We'll see, you're gonna have that stupid island there that they're calling an island. Just dumb. You have stunning display, which of course their displays are gonna be great because they're made from Samsung, and we know Samsung makes the best displays, not a big deal. They have the two sizes, the 6.1 and the 6.7 inches. So these phones are going to be the exact same size as the 14 and the 14 Plus, and you can see there they're going to have the same always on display, which is going to be a software thing, not a hardware thing. And then we can see the camera array there. And if we can get to, let's just see, let me scroll through this a little bit. We can you can see the different colors there. That one's going to be, I think that's going to be the gold one there. We have the, that's a purple, I believe. And it's sort of hard. It doesn't even really look purple because it looks almost like a charcoal or something. And then that is the, I think that's the space gray one right there. So, or maybe that's the black one. Sort of, yeah. And then I guess that's the white or silver. I think they're calling that one silver, but it looks white to me. So, and then gold again. So, I don't even want to talk about that stupid dynamic island. It just annoys me. It's just, I mean, look, here's the thing. This is the notch. That's your camera. Those are your sensors for that's your front-facing camera. These are your sensors for your Face ID. And basically, this is the little peel box notch that was going to be there anyway. So what they try to do is now change this and make it into some sort of island and market it to us as if it's some feature that we want instead of a annoying little thing that should not be there. This is my Z Flip 4. And there's a little tiny blip right there that you probably can't even see. And because that's what happens when you put something on there and a little dot for the camera, you don't even bother seeing it because it doesn't exist for you. But instead of Apple trying to engineer that out of their phones, they tried to go ahead and market it to us as a feature. It's just bogus. All right, so here we go. We have a new class of Pro, it says a new class of Pro camera system. It says the Pro camera system in the iPhone 14 and 14 Max. Now I will say this, big ups to Apple on this, because they didn't do this with the 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max, but they went back to it for the 13 Pro and the 13 Pro Max, which is they gave us the exact same camera system for both those cameras. That was the only reason that I bought the Pro Max, is because they had better cameras in the Pro Max than they did in the Pros. I wanted a smaller phone that year, and I had to wait to the following year so I can get the 13 Pro instead of the Pro Max. But here we can see it says a new class of Pro systems. It says, you know, it's going to have all the computational photography stuff, better low light there. It says the iPhone takes computational photography even further with this photonic engine. And it says a giant leap for mid to low light performance in photos across all cameras through the deep integration of hardware. Blah 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 blah. And then let's see here. And it looks like they're trying to do a bit better with these skin tones on there. It seems like they're trying to work and try and balance out some of those skin tones for black folks. We can see some of the stuff there. Now I will say this. This looks like this is one of their macro modes, and it does look much better than the first generation macro mode. But you can still see here along the edges a lot of it's still a lot of softness around the edges. You have a lot of center sharpness, which is fantastic, but there's still a lot of softness around the edges, and I would like to see that. I would like to see some of that gone. And again, we have you know, them working on the skin tones again. It's nice to see there. You know, I mean, that looks like a portrait mode shot, so you know, it looks nice. Yeah. I mean, Apple always does a really nice job with their photos. It's, you know, it's really nice. I mean, I like this. This is a fantastic shot. You can see the background's just gone really black, and then you can still see the details in his, you know, in his suit and a little bit in his hair and such there. So, you know, the landscapes look fantastic. There's a lot of dynamic range in there. You know, nice portrait again. I mean, their cameras do look nice. You have that Pro RAW that you can shoot at 48 megapixels. Again, it's nice, but it's not like it's something that's new. It's new to the iPhone, but it's not new. I mean, we've had, on the Android side, we've had cameras that have had 50 megapixel sensors for years. And there's rumors that the Galaxy S23 is going to have like a 200 megapixel sensor in there. I don't know how they're going to do that, what it's going to look like. But even if they have a 200 megapixel sensor in there and they do some down resing, some pixel binning or whatever, and they get that thing down to 100 megapixels or 50 megapixels from that 200 megapixel sensor, it's going to look fantastic if they do that downscaling from 200 megapixels to like 50. So I'm glad to see it there. It's definitely welcome. Shout out to Apple for putting it in there. I think that this was a horrible example for them to show because I don't think that it gave us all that great sense of detail that's in there. I would have rather them showed where they started in on a person's face, or they had like a more wide shot of a person's face and then zoomed in on like their eye or something. That would have been a much greater example than this, because it just, for one, it's just not that exciting of a photo, and it doesn't show what that punch in really does. So let's see here. Now we can see there it says the new ultra wide camera is going to be 12 megapixels, so it's been that way. It says it has an improved telephoto camera that offers 3x optical. I don't know what's improved about it. They didn't really tell us. They're not telling us here. It says they have the new true depth camera on the front, which is, you know, same as the 14s. New adaptive true tone flash, same as on the 14s. Powerful computational photography benefits like night mode, smart HDR4, portrait mode, and portrait lighting, night mode, portrait photos, photographic styles, and personalize the look of every photo. The same stuff they had. This was something they did on, I mean, all these features are things that were there last year. This, you know, the portrait mode, portrait lighting, night mode. They had night portrait mode. They already have had that. It says new action mode. That's the whole gimbal-like effect thing. Now this, again, I'm really excited about this cinematic mode in 4K for both 30 frames a second and 24 frames a second, because right now it's only in 1080p. That to me is the one thing that might make me really kind of be excited about the cameras here, because if you can actually get a portrait video mode or cinematic mode that looks a lot like your, if you can get it to look a lot like your mirrorless camera, then that could be a game changer for a lot of people. Like right now I have a Sony a7S III. This is an expensive camera. I think this camera is about $3,600 or something like that. A lot of people don't have that kind of money. You know, the lens on there is like another $1,600, $1,800. A lot of people don't have that kind of money. And if you can replicate that look with a smartphone with that 4K cinema mode, then I say that could be enough for a lot of people to want to pick up this phone. So shout out to Apple if it works that well. Let's see here. Let's see. We have Amda Brown says, I bet someone finds a way to read the image off the sensor and get 8K ProRes RAW. I am almost willing to guarantee you that someone is going to do that. And I'll tell you, before Apple even gave us 4K, there were apps out there that were delivering 4K on, off of the sensor that was in there. And I fully expect that someone's going to give us 8K. And this is the thing, this is what I don't understand about Apple. I think they were gonna give it to us, and then they said, you know what, let's not. Let's just wait till next year, and then we can offer that as an upgrade. Because I think the reason why they put a 48 megapixel sensor in the cameras of this phone is so they could deliver 8K. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe 48 megapixels is the minimum amount of resolution you need to actually deliver 8K video. And they could have done it. They could have done it. They could push it as a firmware update if they want to, but I don't think they're going to do it. I don't know. Maybe what they're going to do is they're going to then, maybe they're going to go ahead and wait to see what Samsung comes out with, and then they'll push an 8K firmware update. I don't think they'll do that. That's not what they've done in the past, but maybe they'll do something like that. But I know someone, probably Filmic Pro, or maybe Moments in their app, or somebody else is going to go ahead and, they're going to put out an app that's going to have 8K. I don't know if it's going to have ProRes. It would be great if they did, but I think someone's going to have 8K. So, let's see. Amanda Brown says 250 megapixel cell phone camera. That's more medium format. They might do pixel shift to get that level of megapixel. Yeah, they might do it. They might do a pixel shift. But let's just say this. Let's say they do a pixel shift off of a 100 megapixel sensor. Imagine that you have a 100 megapixel sensor, and you can now down res that. You can scale it down from 100 megapixels to 50 megapixels. You're still going to end up with a very crispy, nice 50 megapixel image off of your cell phone. And that is very, very welcome. So, I don't know. All right, let's jump back in quickly, and then I'm going to get up out of here. So we can see this is going to have, it says pro level walkthrough or workflows, including ProRes and end-to-end Dolby Vision HDR. They're saying pro level workflows, but what they're not going to offer you is Final Cut Pro on your phone. That would be a pro level workflow. If you can shoot in ProRes on your phone, and then you can go ahead and edit it on your phone using Final Cut Pro, and you can output it and send it directly out to wherever you're sending it, whether it be to the web, like to YouTube or to Facebook or wherever, or sharing it with an editor somewhere. If you can edit in Final Cut Pro and then deliver it that way, that would be fantastic. Because maybe you're shooting, maybe you're on the go and you're shooting and you're just chopping together a quick rough so that you can show it to an editor. That would be fantastic if you can put all of those Final Cut Pro files into a file, and then you can drop that into your Dropbox, or you can drop it into a shared folder somewhere, and then let your editor out there grab it, take a look at it, and actually open it in Final Cut Pro on their desktop and see what that rough looks like. That would be a pro workflow. And here's the thing, they could do it if they wanted to. They could do it. The processors in these phones can handle that. They can definitely handle that. Not only can they handle that, and we didn't see any new iPads today, but the processors in the iPads have the same processors that are in the desktops. Those M1 chips are the same M1 chips that are in the desktops, and they could run Final Cut Pro on those iPads as well. They just don't want to do it. I don't know why they don't want to do it. Like, even if they said, hey, you want Final Cut Pro on the desk on your iPad? Cool, we're giving it to you, but guess what? You're gonna have to buy the iPad version. It's gonna be the same as a desktop, but it's gonna be an iPad version that's only gonna be able to be installed on your iPads. They can then extract another $300 out of all of us. Because if they tell me you have to pay another $300 for it, am I gonna be happy? Not necessarily, but then I'm gonna go ahead and hit that buy button and spend another $300 to buy Final Cut Pro to have on my mobile device. I wish they'd do it, but they didn't, and that would be a true pro level workflow. All right, let's see here. Again, crash detection, SOS. They really were pushing this whole SOS thing. This is the thing. That is not, this whole SOS thing, it's not a hardware thing. The whole SOS thing is not a hardware thing as so much as it is a software feature. That's the thing that gets me. The sensors that they need for this are already in the 13 Pros. They might be in the 13s as well. They can do that now. They have fall detection already in these phones. All they need to do is, if they don't have the crash detection, is just retune a couple of things with the sensors to give you crash protection or detection on the 13s. It's not some hardware feature. It's just a software feature. That's the thing that gets me with Apple. They treat us as like we are dumb consumers who are buying into all their hype. And I like Apple products, but give us real change, real innovation. Stop giving us these little incremental software updates that are just sort of pointless. I mean, when I grab my phone or when I buy my phone, I'm not buying it thinking, oh, I might get into a crash today, and I want to know that I can hit a button, or I don't have to hit a button, and it's going to end up calling 911 for me. Sure, I guess if I slide off an icy mountain road and I tumble down a hill somewhere and I'm by myself and I'm unconscious, sure, maybe it's nice that your phone will call 911 for you automatically. How often does that happen? I'm not making a purchasing decision based on that. And they talk so much about the safety issues. I am frustrated. And this Amda Brown says, all this tells me that Apple is not bringing Final Cut Pro to iPad OS anytime soon. They're going to keep filly flopping around. Yeah. Look at that. Amda Brown saying, look, he did the math, said you really only need 33 megapixels. So 34 if you want to get 4K. So I mean 8K. So yeah, they could do it. They could do it. They should do it. They should. It's already there. They could do it. They should do it, and I hope they do. So that man is frustrated. I am, because so here's the thing. As I said, every year I buy a big phone and I buy a small phone, or at least I try to. So this year I was on the small phone for Android and I wanted a big phone for Apple. I was planning on, and I'm still probably will get one. I just haven't decided fully yet. I wanted an iPhone 14 Pro Max. And the things that I wanted on that phone that were most important to me was I wanted a longer zoom. We did not get to see a longer zoom. I don't know why Apple did not give us a longer zoom. I wanted at least a 10x optical and a 30x digital, and they didn't do that. I don't know why they did not give us a longer zoom. Instead, what they gave us was a 2x zoom. They gave us a 2x zoom and a 3x zoom. Why? I don't need a 2x zoom. I have a 3x zoom. I have a main camera. I have the ultra wide, the main camera. I don't need something in between those already fairly wide things. I want something that has some reach. I want to be able to go and look out and go photograph a boat that's out on the water. If I'm at the zoo, I want to be able to get in close to the animals. For people who have kids, if they're at a soccer game or something, or a basketball game with their kids, they want to be able to zoom in. They don't care about the wide angle, so they already have the wide. They've had the wide. Give us the doggone zoom, Apple. What are you tripping off of? That's one of those things that gets people to actually leave your ecosystem and say, you know what, I'm tired of this. I would rather have a zoom. I'm going to Samsung. And I'll be honest, one of the reasons why I'm so frustrated is because when I switched over to this phone right here, this phone does not have a zoom. It has an ultra wide and it has a wide. And so I gave up my Samsung S22 Ultra. I still have it, but I gave it up as sort of my everyday carry phone. and this is my everyday carry Android phone. And so what I was really hoping is I was going to get at least a 10x zoom with my iPhone so that I can do that. What I'm actually considering now is popping my SIM card out of here and putting it back into my S22 Ultra and carrying 2 Samsung phones and 2 Android phones instead of an iPhone, because I really want those great cameras back. And the S22 Ultras have the best cameras, the best overall camera system on any cell phone that there is. Now, Apple has the best video on a camera, but as an overall camera package, Samsung still delivers the best overall camera package on the S22 Ultra. So, yeah. But we can see here, they're just pushing this silly emergency stuff. I mean, it's nice if you need it. It's not something that most people need on a daily basis or even a yearly basis or maybe ever in their life. But they really want people to think that for some reason, if you don't have emergency satellite access, and just so you know, this feature right here is already available on iPhones. It just may not be that elegant of a solution, but you still can access satellite services on your phone in emergency situations. They just put a nice wrapper around it, you know, and added some software enhancements to make it easier to use, but it's already available. Let's see here, the A16 Bionic chip. I mean, it's nice to have a new chip, but it's faster than anything that we have already. As they said in their keynote, that the iPhone, the fastest Android chip is still trying to catch up to the A13 chip from like 2019. Apple's so far ahead. How about this, Apple? How about you decide to skip a year on upgrading the processor, and instead you upgrade everything else? Everything else. How about a new design on the phone? How about you give us a new camera system that's really worthy of the price that we're paying and the cachet that you carry, that with the being Apple? How about you give us all of that? 5G, everything's 5G now. That's not even a selling point anymore. I mean, I don't... Why even advertise 5G? Who doesn't have 5G? Every phone that you have now is all 5G. It doesn't make any sense to even advertise it at this point. It's just, everybody's 5G. In fact, they're phasing out 4G. You won't even be able to use some of the older band, like AT&T not long ago was telling people, we're phasing out the old networks. If you're on the old networks and you have an old phone, come see us. We're going to give you a new 5G phone for free because we're getting rid of the old network. So telling people that this is like a 5G phone, like this is a selling feature. No, every phone made today is a 5G phone. That's the networks they're moving forward with. It's silliness. Apple Fitness for all iPhone users, fantastic. If you're in one of the other 21 countries, great, or 20 countries. I mean, it's been here for a long time. I had it, didn't use it but a couple of times. Maybe it's nice. It's not really my thing. You know, iOS 16, sure, it's not really a selling feature for this phone because, I mean, everybody's going to get iOS 16 moving forward. If you have an iPhone 12, 13, you know, 11, 10s, XR, you know, X, whatever, you're going to get iOS 16 anyway. So you're going to get many of the same features. You know, the environment stuff, I mean, they talk about it. They were really saying, if you have an old iPhone and you want to be good for the environment, send it in or drop it off. I'm not going to drop off my old phone to you for free. You can buy it. I'm not going to just take in my phone and just drop it off and be like, here, take my phone. No. I can tell you right now, folks, if you have an old iPhone and you're worried about the environment and it's sitting around going to waste, how about this? Go on to Google or go on to YouTube and search uses for old iPhones, and you will see hundreds of videos on YouTube with people telling you all kinds of fantastic uses that you can use for an old iPhone. It could be anything from using it as a remote control for your devices, for your TV, or for your Apple TV. You can put it on your wall as a wall clock. You can use it as a photo frame. You can use it as a timer in the kitchen. You can use it as a, as just a camera if you want to. You can give it to your kids and use it as an iPod. There's all kinds of uses that you can have for an old iPhone. There is no need to give away a valuable piece of technology back to Apple unless they're paying for it. So there's that. There's the pricing. Now these phones are not expensive. They're not cheap. Let me just go ahead. Actually, let me go ahead over to. Let me go back and we'll take a look here, and we'll take a look at the pricing because these things are not cheap at all. They have not been, and they still are not. Now you can see here, they did keep the price the same for the Pro Maxes, for the entry level here, where you have $999, so you're talking about $1,000 for the Pro. We'll just click on that there. And you can see we're going 128 gigs at $999, $1099 for 256, $1299 for 512, and $1499 for 1 terabyte. That is for the Pro. That is $1,500 for a smartphone. Now, if we come over here and we go to the Pro Max, and we'll just go ahead, we'll pick some here. We'll just pick that one there, the black one, and oh, that was the purple one we picked before. We'll just click the black one so we can see that a little something different. And we can see there, we're gonna get prices that are gonna be a little bit different now. At 128 gigs, we're looking at $10.99. 256 is $11.99. 512 is $13.99, and 1 terabyte is $15.99. That is $1,600 for your smartphone. That is a lot of coin right there. That is a lot of coin. Now, they do say there's some carrier discounts you can get here. It looks like AT&T is offering up to $1,000 credit if you trade in an old phone. Looks like T-Mobile's offering some of the same things with trade-ins. It looks like, I think that's maybe Verizon, where you can get some trade-ins on there as well. To get that $1,000, you're probably going to have a flagship phone that costs you more, plenty of money. And if you look at Apple, they're not listed. I don't even think they're showing their trade-ins right there. Apple's trade-ins, they don't give you nearly enough. I think the max they give you is like $700 and something bucks for their trade-in. Let me see if I can even get to their trade-in on here. I think they have it on the screen somewhere. Let me go. I'll pick the max there. We'll select this trade-in one. I'm going to go ahead. If you're trading in, look at that. Look at the trade-in value. If you have an iPhone 13 Pro Max, this is a $1,200 phone. They're only going to give you $720 for it. If you have a 13 Pro, they're only going to give you $600. Now, they didn't go up on prices. So and this, now mind you, they're not giving you, it doesn't matter if you have a 1 terabyte version or if you have a 128 gig terabyte version. They're giving you the same amount. And the iPhone 13 Pro, if you bought the 1 terabyte version that was going to cost you around $1,500, they're only going to give you $600. That means they're giving you less than half the value of that phone as a trade-in. Now, on the contrary, if you go over to Samsung and you see the value Samsung gives you as a trade-in for their phones, Samsung is saying to you, we value our phones. We value you as a customer and keeping you in our home as a loyal customer. So we're going to give you more value. And so if you buy a phone from them that costs $1,000, they're going to give you like $800 in trade-in value. I mean, when I bought this, I traded in the Z Flip Original, the OG. That phone was like 3 years old. They gave me $550 for that phone. I mean, that's crazy. When I was trading in my Note 20 Ultra, they gave me $900 for it. $900, and then on top of that, they gave me like another $100 or $200 of credit, on there. So I ended up paying, I mean, the phone, I think I ended up paying like $200 for my S22 Ultra when I traded all that in. It was, I mean, it's bonkers how much value they give you. So yeah, I just, you know, I don't know. Let's see. Mr. Mario says 4G won't be phased out for a while yet. You're right. It won't be phased out for a while, but 5G is what everybody has gone to. And the idea that 5G is somehow a feature that should be marketed and we should be excited about is sort of ridiculous. I think that was a feature maybe 3 years ago. You know, maybe one could even say 2 years ago, but today that is not a feature that anybody should be excited about it should not be a selling point. It should just be, it's a given. It's just a given at this point. So let's see. Says, dude, in Australia, my 512 13 Pro Max was $2,500 roughly, and I'm being offered $1,070. Yeah, see, that to me is just nuts. That tells me that Apple doesn't really value us as customers so much, and they don't value their own phones, you know. And I mean, generally, I would tell people, if you have a phone, don't trade it into Apple. In fact, consider not even trading it in at all, because the phones are so expensive and they give you so little trade-in value relative to what they cost that you're better off selling it to someplace else. You can go online and find other people that will buy the phones for more money, places like Gazelle, and there's some other places, other sites like that. And if you know them, drop them in the comment section, because I'm blanking on their names right now. But there are other places that will buy your phone and give you a much better price for it. And or you can sell it to a friend, or you can put it up on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or something, and you can actually sell it that way and get more money. I have been blessed. I have a friend who's been buying my iPhones, because usually I buy them, he upgrades, he takes my iPhone, his iPhone gets passed down to his kids, and they sort of cycle through like that. And I've been able to get, you know, give him a good price on the phone and not have to deal with the headache of selling it on the open market. But trading these things in, if it came down to it, if my option was to trade this phone in or not trade it in, I would probably keep it and give it to my wife. I would probably say, let me just go ahead. Maybe I would tell her, I was thinking about buying you like a regular iPhone. Instead of giving you a regular iPhone, here, now you have a Pro model that has twice the capacity I was going to get you. You have a better phone overall, and I would just pay straight up for my other one, you know, because they just don't give you enough value. Samsung is, I mean, they want you to be loyal. They're saying, we appreciate that you bought our phone, and we want you to buy another one. We want you to buy another one so much, and to have a Samsung phone in your pocket. We want you to have a Samsung phone in your pocket so much that we're going to give you a ridiculous amount of trade-in value. Apple just doesn't do that. It's not an incentive to want to trade the phone in for me. Not when you pay $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, $1,600 for a phone, and they offer you half price. I mean, that's no good. And then this is the other thing. Take a look at what's in the box. We've been dealing with this for a couple years now. They charge us more and more, and they try and say, oh, we're saving, it's our environmental goals. They give you a charging cable, and that's it. They don't give you even a power brick. They don't give you earbuds like they used to. You would think you're buying a phone like this. This is the iPhone 14 Pro Max. You think you're paying $1,600, $1,599. You would think the least they could do is give you a pair of wireless earbuds and a power brick. I mean, they went ahead and got rid of the headphone jack. The least they can do is give you a power brick and a pair of truly wireless earbuds. But now here's the other issue I have, where I think Apple is trying to I think they're trying to get rid of ports altogether. And this is where it's a problem for me, is that if they get rid of the ports, how are you going to plug in your microphones when you want to film and you want to hook up a wireless mic, or you want to hook up a cable so that you can have your mic boomed overhead? You know, how do you do that? When you want to use the accessories and you need that lightning port, how do you do that if they've gotten rid of the ports? You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. Let's see. Selmonk says they should at least include the dongle again. I agree. They should at least include a dongle. I mean, at the very least. I mean, they should do more, but you're right. If they're not going to give you a power brick, they're not going to give you earbuds, they should at least include a dongle. Now, here's the thing. Samsung, for a long time, and I don't know if they still do it. I didn't even try the last time I bought this, when I bought this phone, I didn't even try. But Samsung, when they got rid of the headphones out of their packaging, if you called them and said, hey, I need some earbuds, can you send me some earbuds? They would send you earbuds for free. They would send you a pair of USB-C earbuds that you can use. They were AKG earbuds. They were USB-C port, the USB-C plug AKG earbuds, and they would send them to you 100% free. All you had to do was call them and say, I bought a new phone and they didn't come with earbuds. I need earbuds, and they'll send them to you. And I think everybody should do that. And I think really what it should be is when you buy a phone, there should just be a checkbox that says, do you need earbuds? Yes or no? And if you click yes, they don't need to change the packaging of the box for the phone. They keep on saying, oh, we're doing this so we can create smaller packaging. You don't need to change the packaging of the box. Just take the earbuds and put them in the shipping box with the phone. That's it. It could be in a little manila envelope that's going to be completely recyclable, and that's it. Put them in the envelope and ship them out with the phone, and that's it. And those people who check it and say no, you don't have to do anything. Simple solution. So, anyways, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with the iPhone. I suspect that I will buy one because I buy a new phone every year so that I can test them, that I have them, that I could use. I can talk intelligently about them when people ask me questions about them. It's one of those things, as a YouTuber, as a tech vlogger, I feel like I should have one. I have people that ask me questions about them. I want to be able to speak intelligently to their questions. And so I will likely get one. But I will tell you that I am as disappointed this year as I have been in past years. And I'm not excited about buying one at all this year. I'm not in the least. And I'm really debating whether I even really want. I know I don't want one, but I will probably get one. But I'm not excited about getting the 14 this year because it's really not an upgrade from years past. And will I use the only feature I'm halfway excited about is the 4K cinematic video, because it shoots now in 4K instead of 1080p. So maybe I'll be excited about that. I don't know. I mean, I'll have to try it and see how it works and see if the edge detection is any better than it used to be, because it wasn't all that great before. And if it's gotten better, then maybe I'll be excited. But am I going to use it often? Probably not. I mean, probably not. The main time I would want to use it if I was vlogging somewhere outside and I'm holding it out. But when I do that, I'm going to use my Z Flip 4 because it has that front-facing screen, you know? So I'm not going to probably use it, or I'm going to use the GoPro. And that's the other thing I have to consider too, is when I'm thinking about whether or not to upgrade and get this phone, is if I want to spend the money, because GoPro's coming out with a new camera. DJI already said they're coming out with a new camera like tomorrow or the next day. Insta360 is coming out with a new camera in the next day or two. So I don't know. Anyways, I'm out of here. The battery on my camera is about to die. So thank you everyone who came out. Shout out to all my commenters out there today. Thank you everyone who watched, and just stay tuned. You may see one on the channel soon, and I'm out of here. So anyways, this is Larry with Today I Feel Like. Thanks for coming back to see me. Come back and see me soon. If you want a prize, it's going to be in the mail soon. And I am Larry with Today I Feel Like again. And until next time, love, peace, and hair grease. Peace.